Welcome back to the final segment of NTV Exclusive. I'm your host, Abul Hasnath, and we have been talking about the language of Nagri and the upcoming event, Bangla is Not My Mother Tongue, all about Nagri, the original lexicon of Sylheti, and it's a complete different branch to Bangla, has its own alphabet. So for those of you that missed out, this is what we've been talking about. We've got this final segment to talk about Nagri, and I'm going to go straight over to my guest, Robert Scott, who's been giving us a big education, a teaching session on Nagri. But there's a piece of passage that we'd like you to read. So you've chosen to read it from the Injil, and as we said, it's God's language, and it's a language for God to communicate. So, Robert, when you're ready, tell us about the bit that you're reading, and then let's hear you go for it.
Well, we're kind of nearish Christmas time, so I thought I'd read a bit of the Christmas story, probably well known to most of us, about Jesus' birth, historically rooted in the time of Caesar Augustus. He's got the whole Roman world to go back to their fathers' towns or villages to be registered, and Mary and Joseph, or Miriam and Yusuf, have gone back to Bethlehem. Jesus has been born and wrapped up in cloths and laid in a manger. O Bethlehem gau chandat bondur maze, Mera rakal okul raiku bala tarar mera fara dawat asil. Aktau alar ek firista tarar shamne ayar dorshon dila. Ar mabodur nurur teze tarar sairobai for oigalo. Ita dekia rakal okul dorer sute bedisha boinigala. Oile firistai tarare hoila tumra dorayona. Ami tumra lagi kub koshir khobor loya aisi. I hush khobor dunyar tama mansho lagi. Huno. Tumrar torano alla ais dawador gauts zonom loisoin. Taino almosi, tainio malik. Tumra gia foroman dekbai ek khasa hurutare tenadi beraya. Gual goror cheror gamlat hutaya toya oise. O shemoy actaio ho firistar loge, aro boat firistare deka gelo. Era alar zikir azkir chori choila. Ashmano alar lilla chela deka zauk. Dunyar bukut tan piaru bondar shanti auk. Badai firista okle tarar gesteki, ashmano gia halle, rakal okol eke oinire hoila au, amra Bethlehem zau, mabud amrar ze chobor zanaila, otto dekia ai. Mati tarazoldi chori gela, gia morium Yusuf ar heror gamlat hutail o hurutare faila. Faya o hurutar beafare taraze chobor zanailo oisil. Ita tara hokol hoila, tarar mat hunia, hokleo taijub oigalo. Oile moriome, hokol ta dilor maze gatia rakla, ar mone sintaroila.
Wow. The fact that that's the way you've read that, and I seem to have understood all of it, and being someone that's brought up in school here, when we obviously they go through Christmas periods for us, and it's almost like, yes, it's recapping everything that I was done in primary school, but that's so easy to understand, and I think that was the purpose behind it, isn't it?
Exactly. If God is God and he wants us to know him, to receive his peace, he's going to communicate in a way that we can understand. And that's why this has been put in a language that anyone can understand. The angels say there is good news of a great joy that can be for all people. Well, all people can understand God in their language. And that means coming to Al-Mossi, Taranawala, our Saviour, to know him. And Mary treasured that in her heart. The shepherds went to find out. And it was great joy and peace for people through this little baby that was born and then lived and died and rose again, so that all could receive this peace as well.
Wow. During the break, I actually took the liberty of going through some of the books that we've got here, and I went back to the basics. So I've picked up, and it's really interesting because we can probably both comment on this, but I picked up this, which is the alphabet, the Nagri alphabet, and what it's done. I found it very interesting because the shapes that were used are, I call them the shapes. There we go. Right, if you have a look there, it's telling you first and foremost, you see here, this is the Nagri for R. The R is really small there, but that's the Nagri for R. If you look at that, that's more looking like an A with the dash in the wrong place, and it's very close to Roman. And if we keep going, if I keep holding that up, you can see there as well, that there is E. And what I love it's done here is it's consolidated the E and the Ikar. So it's, it saves that extra hassle there. And then you've got the O there. And if I keep going, it's just brilliant. You have a look at them there. So you've got there, enda, that's what they're doing there. And it seems like it's so much simpler. You've got and then we go for ko, so they both were still maintained. But there's a lot of the letters that they just not kept. If I keep going there, I'm actually trying to find right there. This one amazed me because anyone that looked at that would say that's door with the ukar at the bottom, but that's door. But this is actually saw, and saw for sagol. And it's amazing that these, this if you was to just get yourself used to it, you could read this so easily. Sorry, Rob,
That's right. Yeah, that was my children's favourite word was sagol, because you could put fagol in front of it and call people crazy goats. They like that.
And I'm sure there's many out there that would be referred by their parents as fagol sagol. And no doubt. Wow. Rob, I need to do justice with the person that you are, because I've always known you as a modest person, and you've certainly come across as, and I think my audience will agree that you're certainly being modest. But you've chosen Bangla as a language to learn, and the funny thing is that you've not gone for the Shuddha, you've gone straight to Silati. Just me talking to you as a friend, as a brother. I mean, what sort of, should I say, enticed you to choose the Silati language?
Well, I think it's about people. And we've lived in East London, we lived in Tower Hamlets for 10, 20 years or so. Our friends are Bengali background, Bangladeshi, but Silati is their language. That's the language they speak at home, that's their mother tongue. So it wouldn't necessarily be appropriate for us to learn Shuddha Bhasha. If I was living somewhere else and there were lots of people from Dhaka, and learning Dhakaya would be appropriate. But to know my friends, to understand them, to speak in a way that hopefully they can understand and that I can understand them, it's much more appropriate to speak in Silati. In just the same way as God wants us to understand him, so he speaks in our language. So similarly, you want to understand people and speak the language they know. There's no point learning Bengali for most of the people that live around us in Limehouse. It's Silati is more important.
Rob, we've obviously started our programme about talking about the upcoming event, and actually let me bring it back up onto the screen for you. The upcoming event in starting at the end of this month, and I think what I'd like you to do, and I'm putting you on the spot here, Rob, but there you go, up on the screen there, you would have just seen a few moments ago, there we go, back again, you're just seeing there now, Bangla is not my mother tongue. This is an exhibition that's taking place from the 31st of January all the way to the 27th of February. We obviously have some of our viewers that probably don't understand the English language so well. So now I'm going to change. আমি এখন সিলেটে আপনারা জিজ্ঞাসা করব এই ইভেন্টটা যেন হইব একটা আপনি তোরা শুনকা
Oh dear. আমি বুঝি ওইলে আমি বালা করি মাতান পারি না ওইলে বাংলা আমার মার ভাষা নাই. What more? Itar art exhibition amar bondu taki, amar bondu nam Saif Osmani ar tain ek boshor age ami Saif Osmani forisoi khorsi ar tain artist ar architect manush ar itar exhibition ami Kushi oibo.
Kushi, gee. Wow. So there you have it. You have your invite. Robert Bhai time to pura mote আপনারা বাংলায় হইছেন যেন একটা এক্সিবিশন হইব জায়গাটা পড়ছে হাস গ্যালারি লাইম হাউসে ইস্ট লন্ডনে যারা জানা লাইম হাউস ডিএলআর স্টেশন একটার অপোজিটে হাস গ্যালারি এখানে এক মাসের দায় ও এক মাস থেকে তুরা কম 28 দিনের দায় একটা এক্সিবিশন চলবো এটা নাগরি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজে যেখানে ওয়ার্কশপ হয়ে যাইব আপনারা শিখবার সুযোগ আছে এর যে নাগরি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজে করে দেখতে পারবা সাইফ ওসমানী যে একটার করা রান করা এটা খুব একটা কিতা হইতাম আমি আমরা ইয়াং মানুষ তাই বহুতটা ফায়দা আর আপনারা যারা নগরীর হতা বলি গেছেন নগরীর হতার মাতুত অন না আপনারা আইয়ে দেখুকা যেন নগরী কোন বাটে এবার তুলার সো maybe I spoke too fast, but so there you go. So yes, now going over to East London lingo. Those of you that have thought that Sylheti and your own sort of dialect of it, the one that you got at home, is just for the house, and it's not. It's back up and running. Okay, the Nagri is going to be on this exhibition, running for a good 28 days, 31st Monday the 31st of January, all the way through to the 27th of February. It is going on from more or less the morning time, 10 a.m. all the way through to the evening.
About that time, yeah.
Yeah. So come along to this. Come and see what it's all about. No doubt Robert will be there as much as he can, although you're going away to Bangladesh for a bit, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to catch up with some friends in Sylhet, go back to the language school for a bit to practice my speaking, particularly for a couple of weeks in February.
I say you will need very little practice, and I think you should go out there and enjoy your holiday in Bangladesh. Robert, we have a few more moments to talk about some of the other books, so let's take a few turns. Is there any other books that we could probably look at which are worthwhile in your opinion?
This is one that's quite old, but it's Sylhet and Sylheti language, written by Matia Rahman Chowdhury, who some people will know for his journalism here and in Bangladesh. And it's a history of the Sylheti language. Now, I can't read it because it's in Bengali, but friends who have read it said it's brilliant. It's got an introduction by an English person, which I have read, and I think it's quite poignant. And I think it's helped me to understand Sylheti and why it's good for people to embrace Sylheti and not put it down. So one thing he says, this particular man, James, he lived near Brick Lane for many years, and he'd lived in India. He'd learnt Bengali, he'd learnt kind of Calcutta Bengali. Nearly everyone I met in East London's immigrant community came from Sylhet. And when I first tried to learn their language, many said to me, "You shouldn't learn our language, it's rubbish." But I'm immensely grateful to those who did allow me to practice speaking with them and welcomed me into their village homes back in Sylhet. On my first visit, I discovered a land rich in history, poetry and song, friendly and hospitable people, and just explains why it's important to not diss your language, because it takes away something of your identity. So I can't read this, but I'm sure you can, because it's in Bengali.
You'd be surprised to hear, and I don't wish to expose myself and fall flat on my face on live TV, but my Bangla reading is terrible as well. I would have just taken turn to read the English as well, but no, this is marvellous.
A couple of interesting ones. This is available on Amazon. London Sylheti Dictionary, or Londony as it's sometimes done, but it's all in Roman script. But that's a good book. You can get it on Amazon there.
Wow.
And then this one has just come out called Fifra Dufifaki, a kind of fable explaining when a bird helps out an ant and then the ant helps out the bird. But it's written in Nagri and Bangla and English so that anybody can understand it, even you.
So it's the Fifra Dufifaki. So there we go, the Fifra and Dufifaki, and it's in Nagri when you look at it this way, and then when you let's see if we can get, there we go. Right, so there's the book Fifra Dufifaki. So when you first few pages, the first half of the book you open up, it's in Nagri, and then what you do is you flip it over, turn it upside down, and then it's in, I believe it's in Bangla. It's in pure Bangla. So you know what, I'm referring to it separately as Nagri and Bangla, because this is what this book literally does. Right, we are absolutely out of time. Unbelievable. I don't think I've done justice to the language of Nagri. I don't think I've done justice to you, Robert. You're going to say I have, but you know what, there's so much more. Robert, I think I would like you to come back to another show of the NTV Exclusive, maybe when and if you allow us to open up the phone lines when we come back, and so when, no doubt it will go up onto our NTV Facebook, and we'll put it up. We'll probably have a promotional advert going on NTV when Robert will come back, and we will open up our phone line. So if you have any questions about the language of Nagri, about the origins of Bangla, if you'd like to speak to Robert in Bengali, why not? Te aro koidin pore amra asha kori Robert ফিরত আইবা আর টেলিফোন লাইন খুলিয়ে রাখমু আপনারা দেখেও কোনো কিছু আলাপ করতা কোনো মাত কথা করতা কিছু জিজ্ঞেস করতা আপনারা নাগরির উপরে আমরা রবার্ট নাই মনে তাই তো একটা খুব বেশি স্টাডি করছেন so that is it I've wrapped him up I've wrapped this up I've wrapped Robert up and he's going to come back and join us I have stitched you but listen before all of that the event is coming up don't miss out if you have a quick flick up on the screen for that poster again Bangla is not my mother tongue. Bangla amar mar language na. I shouldn't have even used language. I mean, I didn't want to use the word zifra. But look, that event's coming up 31st of January to the 27th of February. It's absolutely exclusive. You know what? What more can you have? To go to an event, people ain't selling anything. People ain't trying to tie you down to something. It's learning the origins of a language. And I think that's the key thing here. This is why do we call it NTV Exclusive? Why do I present this show as NTV Exclusive? Because it's something exclusive. It's not the same thing day in, day out. You come, you want to know something new. And this is certainly something new. Certainly for me it has been. I hope for a lot of the British Bengalis that are born here, it should be for you. And for our grandparents that are still with us, if they wish to come back and see the resurrection of a language, this is the best event. That's all I've got time for, inshallah. I will look this week. Hopefully I should have something absolutely pucka, I call it in my East language, but we're going to have a journalist coming across to talk about his travels across the world on the history of Islam. I've run out of time. I've got to thank Robert. I've got to thank Shantir Boy. I've got to thank you guys for watching this. No doubt we will have this back on and we'll get the promotion. Until then, I wish you all the best. For all those that are watching, thank you for watching. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.